Hello friends. According to the latest updated information from the IMF, his average income is $53,196, which is higher than Germany, the United Kingdom, twice as much as Portugal and more than 3 times the global average. Their GDP is more than $530 billion US. Strong for rice, strong for money, the economic story we have talked about a lot about this startup country. And today is a military story. No country in the world, with a population of only about 10 million people and an area of just over 20,000 square kilometers, has formidable military power like Israel. You can call it a small country, but it is a military power. To compensate for its modest army numbers, because of its modest population, it has the world's leading developed defense industry. And very specific and interesting regulations in the military. Welcome to today's story. Military strength. Since the state's founding on May 14, 1948, Israel has experienced 4 large-scale wars and many smaller conflicts with neighboring countries. The common point for the results of the above events is that the Israeli army prevailed and the country never had to admit defeat. During more than 50 years of war, Israel has accumulated rich experience in mobilizing forces and waging war, which is the main factor that makes Israel invincible in the Middle East. The 2023 Military Balance Report of the Institute for Strategic and International Studies, ISS, shows that Israel has 169,500 active troops, along with 465,000 reserve troops. The country mobilized 300,000 reserve troops after Hamas launched an offensive campaign. The Israeli Air Force is considered the most modern in the world, possessing a series of advanced weapons, including F-35 stealth fighters, smart bombs and high-end sensor systems. Does Israel have nuclear weapons? Israel is also believed to be a country that possesses nuclear weapons, although Tel Aviv has never publicly admitted it. The Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, said the country is staffing about 80 nuclear warheads, including 30 gravity bombs equipped on aircraft and 50 warheads mounted on medium-range ballistic missiles Jericho-2. Defense industry. Before turning Israel into a country with a powerful military and defense complex like it is today, Simon Peres, the late president of Israel, was repeatedly ridiculed for his dream. In the 1950s, Shimon Peres, father of the startup nation model, founder of the Israeli defense industry, then 27 years old, was assigned the task of procuring weapons for the army. Israel? This idea was immediately scorned by other leaders in the country. Israel at that time could not produce bicycles. But Peres did not mind this. Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, in 1953 with 70 employees. At first, the company mainly maintained aircraft for the country's air force. But only 6 years later, IA produced the first aircraft based on a French design called the Zootkit. IA has helped Israel become the 8th country in the world capable of launching rockets into space, since 1988, alongside powers such as the US, Russia, China. Israel also receives major military support from the US, through an annual grant worth $3 billion to buy weapons produced by Washington. The country is also often the first country in the region and the world to have access to leading US military technologies, including the F-35 fighter jet. Not only does it have strong military capabilities, Israel also possesses the largest and most diverse defense industry in the world. In the Middle East region, only Iran can compare with Israel in terms of its ability to design, produce and deploy advanced weapons. Israel currently owns many large-scale defense corporations, influential not only in this country but also in the international arena. One of them is the Israel Aerospace Industries, IAI, famous for its range of domestic assets including aircraft, unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, air defense systems and electronic warfare equipment. IA's famous products are the Iron Dome air defense system, the Arrow interceptor missile complex, the Barak air defense missile, the Gabriel anti-ship missile, the Jericho ballistic missile capable of carrying nuclear warheads, and the Lahat anti-tank guided missile and Griffin guided bomb. In addition to IA, Rafael Advanced Defense Systems is also another prominent name in the Israeli defense industry. This corporation produces Tamir interceptor missiles for the Iron Dome system, parts of the Iron Beam laser weapon defense system, David's Sling missile shield complex, and many other weapons. Although the Israeli defense industry is capable of producing many different types of weapons on its own, the country still needs US help in one area, be it at the production, design or assembly stage. Israel is also a major arms exporter. According to SIPRI's report, the country accounts for about 2.3% of total global arms sales in 2022, ranking 10th in the world. Israel's main customers include the UAE, Morocco, Bahrain, the Philippines and even the US. The US has purchased a number of advanced weapons systems from Israel, including the Iron Dome complex or trophy tank protection shield to protect Abrams main tanks. Military service. When Israeli citizens turn 18 years old, they will have to perform mandatory military service for 2 to 3 years, women serve 2 and men serve 3. Some jobs require longer service hours, for example, pilots must serve for 9 years to pay for their training. This applies to both men and women. However, willingness to use this service has dropped to a record low. Historically, those who refused were jailed, but as cases have increased, fewer have been forcibly executed. Work is not just on the battlefield. Like American forces, Israeli members can do jobs that do not involve combat or weapons. In fact, the IDF has its own radio station, Galatz, an orchestra, a choir, a magazine, and operates several popular social media channels, including those on Twitter and TikTok. They train several animals. The United States has an extensive dog program in its military, but Israel has gone a step further. They gathered and trained all kinds of animals, including camels, donkeys, alpacas, antelopes, llamas and, of course, dogs. Meanwhile, some bases take care of sheep used to guard ammunition. Sheep are known to be territorial and aggressive, making them the perfect guard animals. But their animal care goes further than that. The Israeli army is famous for rescuing stray animals and bringing them home so they are fed and safe. Special cases. The IDF is the only army in the world that requires deaf and/or hearing impaired members to serve in its military. To solve this problem, they hire signed baggage interpreters through training events, so they can keep their training up to date. Most deaf soldiers work in jobs that do not involve combat. Woman soldier. In Israel, there is a debate about the presence of women in the army. Religious leaders say that men will not be able to concentrate on fighting because the women are too beautiful. The rabbis urged the Israeli government not to let women serve in the military. They assert that the weaker sex is the reason why pious men and young people lose the will to fight. And some conservative activists even try to erase the efforts of female soldiers, asserting that women are held to easier standards and that their presence drags the military down. The inclusion of women in military combat units has been the subject of a long-running debate in Israel, which has one of the few armies in the world to conscript women at age 18 years. The issue of women serving at the front pitted radical rabbis and religiously observant soldiers against feminists, secularists, and critics of democracy. The country's traditional male-dominated culture. Now that debate is truly over. Despite years of ridicule from conservative elements of Israeli society, images of female soldiers have become symbols of progress and equality, appearing on magazine covers and appearing on television news. Image. And the recent information also ends today's story. If you find the video interesting, please click like, subscribe to the channel to support, as well as to receive the earliest notification every time our video is broadcast. For now, goodbye and see you again.